This is crime scene investigator Chris G, leading you under the police tape and into a crime scene. Join me as we discuss the ever-changing world of forensic science. Put on your PPE, ready your fingerprint brushes, and experience the drama of a crime scene. Hello everyone, and welcome to my fourth podcast. This week I sit down with a colleague and friend, Hayley. She's been a crime scene investigator for a few years, but she still is as passionate about her job now as when she first joined. Stay tuned to listen to our chat about how she got into the role, how she juggles the job around her children, and why she thinks more females may get drawn towards this role. But just taking a moment to reflect on this podcast series, I've been uploading them every 2 weeks, normally airing on a Sunday. I've been alternating between special guests and colleagues, and I guess I'd like to know what you think about this format. You can get in contact with me. You can send me a tweet on Twitter if you have it. My handle is at CSI Chris G, which the surname is spelled G-E-E, or Golf Echo Echo for all you phonetic alphabet lovers. I'd love to hear your views. Anything you feel is going well with this podcast, or anything that I could improve on or include, I'd be interested to hear. Right, on with the podcast. Stick around and listen to my chat with fellow crime scene investigator Hayley. Hello everyone, and welcome Hayley to the podcast. It's great to have you here, Hayley.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I think first off, before I start asking you a load of questions, you're a big fan of podcasts, aren't you?
I love them. True crime.
So now you're on your real, your own true crime podcast.
I literally feel like a famous person.
Yeah, wait until you see the listeners. You'll be disappointed.
No one knows who I am. I feel famous.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, we'll be able to propel you to fame through this. I'm sure, depending on what you say, it might get you fame. It might get you infamy. Who knows? Oh dear, this is going to be fun. Right. So, I'll start off by just saying that you work with me as a crime scene investigator. You're sort of overlapping me on a shift pattern, so we do work together. We haven't really been to too many crime scenes together, have we? I think we end up being really busy on our shifts, and then just never meeting each other at too many crime scenes.
No, we're not been to too many together, I don't think. And there's probably you're one of the persons. There's probably a reason why they don't send us to crime scenes together. And stuff happens.
Yeah, which over the next 40 minutes you'll probably see why. Oh dear. So why don't you tell people, a little bit about yourself and how you became a CSI?
We'll start at the beginning of those training sessions, isn't it? Talk about yourself and how long you've been in the
job. Here's the ball, now you can talk. And then once you're done, pass the ball to someone else.
So I guess it all started when I was little. I always wanted to be a police officer or a ballerina. But the police officer would have been a mounted police officer, because I always wanted my own pony. Yeah. And to go to town for free, as you do. So as I got older, I went and did a degree in photography and did a project on neighbourhood policing, and it kind of rekindled my interest in the police again. I then left university and sort of went into different jobs whilst applying to get into the police in some form, because at the time I think it was either a degree in forensics or 3 years or so experience within the police force to get in to be a CSI or the CSI as there was at the time.
Which is volume crime scene investigator, just for our listeners. So that would be like a crime scene investigator that would only go to what we classify as volume crime, so not high profile, serious and major crime. Sorry, Hayley.
It's not fine. I'm so used to just saying it now. I
know.
I don't know what I'm talking about. So I tried to be a police officer, a PCSO, and a special constable, but I didn't get into any of those, probably for the reasons why I was supposed to be doing this job. So I got a job within it's like a forensic submissions department, which basically was authorising work to be sent off to be examined for many different kinds of cases. We then merged with Surrey and Sussex, so I moved up to headquarters, and then from there was successful in getting the volume crime scene investigator job, and then I moved up to the CSI and into your office.
Hey, with me.
Lucky you.
And yeah, the rest is history. So, in all seriousness, why did you pursue a career in the police and not a ballerina, or into dance or something?
I did performing arts in A-level.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think I wanted to do photography.
Yeah.
And then I did wedding photography and realised actually I prefer my people not moving. Apparently, it's easier to photograph.
Much easier. Yeah. I mean, it gives you worse nightmares, but yeah, a little bit easier.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I don't know. I just think just the way it went. I just wanted to do photography, and then I realised I did still want to be in the police. And at the time, there was a police photographer job, but they got rid of that. And what was left was these volume crime scene investigator and CSI. And I think there was a lot of the stuff on TV, of like all the irritating TV shows. I thought to myself, actually, do you know what? I quite fancy doing that, and I can use my skills there. So that's what I did.
Yeah, because photography is a huge part of our role. Like, if ever sort of half professional photographs need to be taken within the police, they send us. And yeah, like I remember my first training course, a third of it was purely on photography, just how the camera works and everything, and developing your skills in like nighttime photography. And because it's not as simple as just pointing a camera and clicking, you've got to make sure everything in your picture is in focus, it's well lit and everything, it's not grainy like you see on some of your dark pictures on your phone. So yeah, it's a huge part of our role. So I can see why you got into this.
Yeah, it was also really interesting sort of a job as well. So yeah, pulled me out of Jessup and straight into the police. It's all good.
So my next question to you: what are the elements of this job that you love?
So I think one of the main ones are sort of helping people, being there in their moment of crisis and finding the evidence to catch the person that's done this. And when you get a good result on that, is such a major job satisfaction. Or if you notice something that someone else hasn't found and it progresses the investigation further, it's like a gold star, which I love a good gold star.
You even handed out some gold stars to colleagues, haven't you?
I have, and also when I read my standard operating procedures, I give myself a gold star for well done. Well done for doing your job. But yeah, there's that, and I think it's nice to be a part of like the big picture, the overall picture, and that you're like a cog in that particular mechanism for that particular part of that crime. And I think that's really nice to be a part of. When you get to work in a team, because it's quite a lot of lone working, when you are together at a scene, if you're with officers or like outside bodies, so like scientists and the fire brigade, it's just really interesting, and that is exciting. And just because I'm also quite macabre, I just love the grime stuff. The grimmer the better. If I haven't been a little bit sick in my mouth, it's not been a good one. So I just love anything that's a little bit gruesome. So yeah, it's another reason why I wanted to get into it.
I can't think of any. What job, if you didn't have this, would you have gone into that fulfills all those needs?
No, wedding photography just wouldn't cut it. Could you imagine?
No, I mean, if you're getting a little bit sick in your mouth through wedding photography, then I don't think they'd ask you to stay long, would they?
No, like picture.
Yeah, we'll take the pictures ourselves, thanks. Yeah. Oh dear. But I think one thing I've noticed through working with you for the last however many years is that you really do kind of like. You do get emotionally attached to the people that you see, and you've even said that you've had a cry with some people before, which I hope you don't mind me bringing up. But I think that's
professional, but
But just, I think that goes to show how much the job means to you. And it's not just a job. It's not just a job that you do just so you can get a paycheck at the end of the month. You love doing it, and you love helping those people when they need it.
yeah, I do. I think, yeah, I really like. It's not just a job. When you take away the admin and the office staff, and you're out and about, I generally love it. I like the cruising from job to job. I like the calling up and getting the information, and I just generally really enjoy it. I just love meeting people, and I think that is quite a big part of it. I just love meeting new people. And yeah, I do really care, because it's in a really awful. I think that's the thing. People always ask you what the most upsetting, the most disgusting thing you've ever seen, and actually, do you know what? All the gore and stuff, it doesn't really matter for me. The things that are most impactful are the break-ins. It's people who've lost their most prized possessions, their sentimental things that their parents have given them or have been passed on for generations. And I think it would be hard not to get that emotionally attached when you've got people who are just breaking down in front of you. I think, they're quite hard sometimes to deal with. And sometimes all you can do is just sort of like give them a little pat on the arm, and if they want a hug, give them a hug. Obviously now you can't.
No.
A little COVID elbow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just, I don't think that's obviously the best way to deal with things. You shouldn't get too emotionally attached to people that you encounter, but people do appreciate a bit of empathy, and I think that's a big part of the job, is to be empathetic.
Yeah, definitely.
That's even the right word.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think if people can see that you care, and you're not just there to pass the time, you actually want to help them, then I know that people would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're there to provide a service as well, and that's the service that they expect. So
yeah, definitely.
I think that's a bit of extra good.
And I think that's why the police are kind of scrutinised so much, is that we're they expect a high service from us and demand it, and I think why shouldn't they get that? They shouldn't expect someone to just come round, examine their burglary and do half a job really, because it's we've got kind of one shot of this, whereas if someone fits you a carpet in a room and they don't do a good job, then they can come back and fix it. Whereas we can't really do that. If we don't do a good job straight away and we lose all the evidence, then it's gone.
It's gone. And I think you have to, in a way as well, like the other side of a bit of devil's advocate, you have to manage expectations. You can't be doing what they see on television. But again, I think to feel like they've been listened to, that you've examined what they pointed out, that doesn't a lot to sort of support people.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that's me being a Libra, like proper both sides.
Yeah, Libra's the one with the scales, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that kind of leads us on to the next question. What type of cases interest you the most?
Every single one of them. I couldn't pick one. Every case comes with a story, someone new to me, a new friend to make. Just like to see how people live their lives and what goes on with them. I just find it fascinating, and not every job is the same. You have the standard ones where it is kind of similar, but then you do find something different will happen each day, and you don't know what you're going to find. And I think that's the thing I find most exciting. I don't think I've lost a lot of my enthusiasm. I was horrendous at the start, like an excitable puppy. I think I have toned down a little bit in the 6 years that I've been doing this job. But I do still find, I always go to a scene and think like, oh, what are you going to find today? It could be something really interesting. It could be something really grim, like photographing footwear marking dog poo.
Yeah, we've been there.
Anything and everything, really. You really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I guess I haven't really been involved in a big like whodunit type murder. But the admin side of things quite concerns me. So part of me thinks I don't think I really would want to get too involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be in a scene for days and to proper process it and be there for that whole journey, I would find probably like my next big thing to do, rather than like little sections of it like I've been involved in before.
Yeah. It's funny part of this job, isn't it? When you've got like a certain thing that you haven't experienced so much, like you've just said, a whodunit murder. A part of you hopes that one comes up, but then a big part of you is like, no, I don't really want to wish that, because that's not a nice thing to wish for.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're kind of in between a rock and a hard place. Okay, so I was going to talk about females in policing, more crucially in our department, because what I think I've noticed since I've started is that this job does encourage a lot of females to apply for it. And when I first joined, 90% of the applicants were female, so only 10% were male. I was in that 10%. So why do you think a lot of females go for this job?
When you sent me that question, I actually a little bit cried inside because I don't know how I'm going to answer that.
If you don't know, then you don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's really hard because I can't really answer for every female in our department, because I reckon they probably all went in for different reasons. I guess all I can really say is probably why I went into it a bit more. But again, when I was thinking about why I did it, I thought, actually, Joe, it's probably fair for everybody in the department why they've gone into it, potentially. So it might be more of just a type of person rather than a type of sex. But I don't really know, because I don't want to come across as being like sexist or against my own sex. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think, like, I guess part of it is the it's like looking at for the smaller details and the smaller pieces of information, and the problem solving side of things. And what I quite like about it is that you've got the information that you receive, kind of like the factual information. So this is the time it happened, roughly. This is the date that it happened. This is what the victim said. This is what we think's happened. This is what the evidence we can see so far is showing us. And then you get to go in there and go like, that's great. I'll put that to one side, and I'm going to go in there now and have a closer look, pull things out, dig around a bit more, and ask a few more questions. So whether or not that is, I don't know, more of a woman thing, because I like to just think that I like to be nosy, so I like to have a good nose around and find something else. I don't really know. But yeah, just that just fighting to find another answer and just not taking that as what it is. And I don't know whether, again, I don't want to come across as being sexist, if the multitasking thing is a big thing, because I couldn't quite cope with dealing with a lot of things in one go and have a lot of stuff happening at 1 minute. So whether or not that's just something that appeals to women, because it's quite focused, you've got to do a lot of things in a scene, you've got to be organised. I don't know. Don't know if you feel any different.
No, I was just wondering. It's interesting what you're saying about girls being, say, like, maybe like they like the kind of problem solving or things like that, and it got me thinking maybe that, like, say for example, if you were to have a nursery and you've got boys and girls, what would the boys like to do and what would the girls like to do in the nursery? I think boys would probably prefer the charge about, would they? And be a bit rough and things, which is, yeah, maybe more geared to a police officer on the streets.
Yeah, I just think as well, like, yeah, it's just sitting down, like, you from what I've heard, mums of girls say, in comparison to obviously my two that run around ragged, girls can tend to be, again, this is a massive generalisation, tend to be a lot more sit down focused. You can get them to do nice drawing, you can get them to do like threading, and they will sit and concentrate on something, whereas most boys, I'm going on experience with my own two, I could probably get them to sit down for about a second, scribble something on the paper, and then they're off. But whether they're different at school, I wouldn't know. But I guess ultimately the male and female members of our team all bring something different. So again, it's really hard to say why it's mainly women. I think maybe it's because of how intricate the job can be, but there are some particular jobs where maybe a female presence would calm down a situation, whereas maybe a male presence would escalate things. or vice versa, you know, like if you had a female attend somewhere, it could actually make things worse than if it was a male. It's handy to have a lot of females, particularly when we're having to do injury photos on women that are in kind of intimate areas. So again, that's usually something that's quite a benefit. But yeah, I don't really know. I mean, the other thing I thought of as well was whether or not like the TV stuff has a bit of a impact on it. So you see stuff like CSI where there's some sort of male and female characters, and the females are sometimes a bit stronger, or they do like Silent Witness, that sort of stuff. Whether that has a bit of an impact, it's just sort of sparked some more female interest, or I don't really know.
No, it could be that, because you've got these female characters on there that are catching these bad guys, and they're really having to think and things, and that's kind of reflective of what we do and what you're doing. So it might be that these people have those kind of characters as role models when they're choosing what career they want to get into.
Maybe.
Yeah.
See us working and think we're cool.
Yeah, they think it's all glamorous when the reality is it's not so much. No. Didn't someone? I was going to say, didn't someone make a comment about your job being glamorous when you were searching a bin?
Yeah, it was lovely with like old kebab meat in it, rubbish, a strong smell of urine, and I'm sort of in there digging out some glass.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, your job's so glamorous. Oh, I'd love to do your job. Well, hop on in, darling."
I'll get you some gloves. You can sift through this with me.
Yeah, you don't know. It's lovely.
So she was actually being serious, thinking.
I didn't say that. No, she was like, "Oh, it's so glamorous." She might have been joking. I'd like to think she was, but she seemed pretty keen. How they sort of people hover a little bit to ask you a bit more information, and I'm just sitting there trying not to vomit in my mask.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think if you were going to vomit, at least you're in a bin, so it can just go straight in.
Looks like the old kebab meat. But no, it was a very interesting question to pose, though.
Yeah.
Why did more? I just couldn't really. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's one for an office email.
Yeah. I think what I love talking about, why I love talking to you, is that I'll look back at the question I've asked and then see how we've ended. And so the question was like, what attracts females to work with it? And then we've got like, stood in a bin. Like, we go on quite a journey, don't we? When we chat. Oh dear.
Mind that. Crazy.
So my next question is about your kids. You have 2 children. What's it like juggling home life with a shift pattern?
The mental load is real, and the mum guilt is horrendous. I think realistically, if I didn't have the support that I had, I'd find it an awful lot harder. So that's not just from Colin, but my parents and his parents as well. We're very, very lucky. There are some members of our team that have very minimal help, and I don't know how they do it. I think they're heroes, really. It's stressful. How I get around it is just trying to be as organised as possible. So if it's like a school day, is to lay out all their clothes before, batch cook meals where I can, just making sure there's stuff that's really quick for Colin to cook in the evening. So it's just trying to be organised and just planning ahead. And as well, I had to really, this is going to sound shocking, but I had to sort of be kind to myself and start looking at what plates I had spinning, and realistically, if one was to fall, what would be the best one? And I decided that it would be my home. As long as the children are fed and they're happy and healthy, and I can get them to school and I can get to work and do my job well, which is another big thing that I worry about. But if my home isn't quite Mrs. Hinch and it's not as beautiful as I'd like it to be, as long as it doesn't look like a crack den, I'm pretty happy. So there's your two polar opposites, and I'm sort of like probably more on the crack den then, but they've got clean clothes and it's not a hovel. So So how I deal with things, is just to sort of cut myself some slack. Full-time working, with both me and Colin both full-time work, something's got to give, and the children they can't be dropped. Nothing can change for them. So realistically, it's the housework. So I try and power through that before my shifts. So on my rest days, I've got time with the children, because that is so precious. They grow up so quickly, and just plan nice days with them. That's how I sort of deal with things, really. And just hope that I'm still working to a relevant standard and being flexible enough, because that's the other side of things. It's all well and good keeping your house plate moving, but then your work one starts slowing down. So it's a bit of a juggling act, really.
Yeah. Well, I think first off, you don't have to worry about your anxiety about being good at your job, because you are. That's why I've chose you to be on this podcast, because I just knew you'd be a shining example to members of the public on how a CSI should conduct themselves and everything. I think you'd be a fantastic role model for any students listening to this. So you honestly don't have to worry about that. And I also think if your house is immaculate, then you've either got a lot of time on your hands, and that's fine, or if you have such a busy schedule and your house is immaculate, then maybe your time would be better spent elsewhere, perhaps. Especially because I think since I've become a dad, the housework has gone completely downhill.
The washing. So you've got to try and get a load of uniforms washed as well. So currently I'm on the 6 shifts on, 2 off, 6 on, and I think I literally have to get all my uniform washed and ready. I haven't got that extra day, but I'd normally go, I'll get the washing out. So you're just frantically trying to wash things, and it's just never ending. It's never ending.
No, but I guess that's. I guess since you started your job as a CSI, your priorities have probably changed, haven't they? Because you didn't have kids when you first joined, and now you do.
No. I was. I'm sure they were all super happy when I got the role of the CSI, and then 3 months later found out I was pregnant. And then came back for 4 months and was pregnant again. So I'm sure they were over the moon. But no, it has been interesting how it's all changed. How I viewed the job has changed as well. Whereas before, I wouldn't say that I didn't worry about things happening or things affected me as much, but since having them and having 2 boys and some of the stuff that comes up that we see, I do tend to feel like I'm a little bit more anxious, and I have to keep telling myself that there's only so much control you can have, and I think it's all about educating them on situations and things that they could, or situations they can find themselves in and positions they can be in, and the best route to get out of it and to not do. So I think it's definitely changed things, and I do worry an awful lot about them. But I think once you get to 18, there's not really much you can say to them anymore. You just got to hope that you've raised decent human beings and they're not going to be bumholes. So
yeah. But I know that your kids love the police, don't they? And they love emergency services.
Oh, obsessed with them. Yeah.
So I think if they have that love and respect for them, then it should.
Long way it lasts.
Let's hope so. Oh dear. Unless it's what was it, some kind of TV show like Batman? They'll idolise Batman, and then they get to a certain age and they think, oh, the Joker's quite cool. It's like, no. Stay on the good side.
The Joker's pretty cool, but no, not really. No.
But
don't do it.
Going back to when you were pregnant, so you got the job, and then 3 months later you found out you were pregnant, and then you came back after maternity for 4 months, and then you fell pregnant. I can say that I don't have a problem with that. And I know there was a few old school people that have now left, that were perhaps in the culture where they maybe would have said a few things about that. But I mean, my view on it is that as much and as hard as I try, I can't get pregnant. No matter how hard I try, or the science that is available, it's going to be very, very difficult. So I
go on.
yeah. So yeah, I think we do wish for equality, but when it comes to childbirth, we're never going to be equal in that respect. But I think what the best I can do is respect the fact that women need to go off and have children. Their bodies go through this thing that I can't even imagine. I know that some guys have said that it hurts as much as being kicked in the nuts, but having having seen my other half in labour, no, that I can safely say, guys, that there is no comparison there. It's.
I mean, you could have tried, I suppose. She could have picked you and then seen comparably how it worked, but I would have scored a very special moment.
No, and I think, if you're going to compare it, it's like a tickle. Being kicked in the nuts is a tickle compared to what you ladies have to go through. So I think if people want to join this role and they're going to go off and have babies and have a family, it's you're right to do that. And I know that if my other half, their work had a problem with her going off on maternity, then I'd have a lot to say about it. And I just think that we should create an environment where people should feel like they can balance work with home life as well. And you certainly shouldn't be like bullied in any way for wanting to have a family. That's the kind of mindset I like to kind of perhaps pass on to like new male colleagues that are starting. That you should give ladies going off on maternity a bit of slack, because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. They're going to want to start a family. I think I've been rambling, but it's something I'm quite passionate about because I've seen it happen in my office, and thankfully I haven't seen it recently. So my next question, I was going to talk about is the job as glamorous as what you see on television? I think you've safely covered that with your bin story.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, the short answer is no, and the long answer is no way. It really isn't glamorous at all. Because you think, you're boiling alive in scene suits, which I was super excited about wearing for all of about a minute, and I got it on, and then I literally thought I was going to die, and I was getting claustrophobic out. And my mentor at the time was like, oh, for goodness sake. I was like, I can't breathe. It's awful. So they're not that glamorous. So you just feel like the sweat pouring out of your gloves and down your back. Oh, they're not fun.
No.
And then you're like fishing condoms out of toilets.
Yeah.
That's never fun.
There's no glamorous way to make that look, really, is there?
Nearly getting sprayed with body fluids in PMs. That's another good one.
Nice. Yeah.
You just sort of think, yes, it's glorious. Just love it. Yeah. It's not glamorous at all. Not glamorous at all.
No. But I guess the work and the results that we do would probably be the most glamorous part of it. To say,
absolutely.
The finding fingerprints that are seen that then links to whoever's done it. Yeah, that is the kind
glamorous.
That's the bit on TV that is similar to real life, isn't it? Those end results.
Yeah, but it is amazing when you think back to how I used to look when I started the job. I'd take time doing my hair, and I'd make sure my makeup was all right, and make sure everything looked perfect. And now I'm just like, man, if I can get in without some sort of child food and dirt on my uniform, winning it. I'll just scrape old Barnet back and
be like, hey, Hayley, were you called out last night? Nope, I've just rocked in.
No, this is just I've managed to get into work and just be grateful.
Oh dear.
Yeah, what ages.
Okay, so are there any funny stories that jump to mind that you've experienced in your career?
No, I had to really think about these because something funny happens most days, as you know, when I come back
Yeah.
and here I'm suddenly we're trying to write your notes.
Yeah.
But I think I have a couple. I don't know how many you want to hear, but 2 of them are like pregnancy related, and then 2 of them are like just make me laugh every time I think about them. So the first one was with one of my colleagues who works in our North office, who I think they've intentionally put on separate shift patterns because we are a night together. We were double crewed when we were working together as volume crime scene investigators, which was the best day ever. And we were cruising around Crawley, and we had some music on, and we're having like a proper natter and a giggle. So we pull up at the job that the address sat-nav put in the sat-nav, sorry. Get out, go to the door, knock on the door. I forgot to get my ID out, and this lady opens the door. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Hayley, I'm CSI, I'm here about your break-in. Is it okay to come in?" All in like one sentence, no breath, like standard me. And she's like, "No, I haven't had a break-in." Oh. They're like, me and my colleague look at each other and we're like, "Oh, what's your address?" So she tells us the address. We look on our printout. Oh, it's the wrong address. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to have bothered you. We're at the wrong address. We'll let you go on with your day. I'm sorry to have bothered you." So off we go, like having a giggle. Oh, that was well embarrassing. We'll try and find it now. So we get back to the office, and quite rightly so, the women reported us as fake police officers.
Oh, she didn't.
It was really funny because we're like, "Oh, that's really awkward." But I kind of, part of me was like, I don't want to get into any trouble. Serves me right, really. I should have checked properly. And she really should have called in, because we do encourage people to do stuff like that. But it just popped off, because literally once that happened, another load of random stuff happened. Like some people turn up at the address we were at that weren't supposed to be there, and because we were so like newbie, we had no idea what we were doing. We were like, "Do we go down there? Do we call someone? Like, what to do?" So it just literally popped off, just the most random shift we'd ever worked together. And then after that, strangely, we weren't ever put together. So fun. And then and the other one was again when I was quite new. I was out with my mentor, and as I said a little bit early on, I was quite over enthusiastic about everything. So this was a GBH, and there was blood everywhere. There was foot marks in blood and finger marks in blood, and we had to try and find weapons, and I was just buzzing. I was just like bouncing off the walls, having the time of my life, and he's trying to calm me down because obviously he's got to concentrate, and I'm just like, this is amazing. So we had to try and find a weapon, so we were searching around all the kitchen, and he said, "I'm just going to check the fridge and the freezer because you never know." So he opens up the fridge, it stank, which was brilliant. Shut it, open the freezer, there's like really weird looking coloured packet in there. So I went, "Oh, is that someone's fingers?" The scene guard heard and was like, "Someone's fingers in the freezer." I was like, "Oh, there might be." And so my mentor was like, "Calm down, there is not fingers. I just need to have a little look and we'll just see what it is." Now, he prided himself for years he hadn't like retched at all over any smell. So he goes into the freezer, puts head for it in, opens up this drawer and releases this odour. He's like, "Ugh, get out!" And he's pushing me out, and I was like, "Oh no, is it fingers? There's someone's fingers at every house." And I'm like literally like retching over the edge of this like balcony thing, and he's doing the same. His PCSA is like, "Seriously, someone's fingers? Is there someone's fingers in there? Do I need to get some more people over?" And we're like a colleague's like, "No, just calm down, everyone. Just calm down. It's just dodgy carrots."
Is that all it was?
Like fingers to carrots. It was brilliant. So yeah, that was quite amusing. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so much. The thing is, when you say them out loud, they're more funny to you. It's like being in that moment when you're just really highly charged. Like, really, it's just carrots, and I'm freaking out at someone's fingers. So if there's anyone who is thinking about doing this job and ends up pregnant, they're in for some treats when you get going in the crime scene world. So I was early stages of pregnancy with my first. Had horrendous morning sickness. I'd gone to a burglary scene and was done my walk around and talking through what I was going to do. And they're like, "We're just going to cook some breakfast. Is that okay?" I was like, "Absolutely fine, crack on, not a problem." So I'm upstairs in their bedroom, which was this beautiful, crisp, clean cream carpet, which gives me the heebie-jeebies when you've got powder at the best of times anyway. Then So I hear the bacon, I hear the sausages cooking, and then up wafts the smell of onions, and I can just feel it all coming up. I'm like, oh, is it acceptable to throw up in a victim's crimes toilet?
Oh.
Because it's better than their lovely green carpet. Like, what am I going to do? So I get downstairs and I'm like, I'm just going to pop to my van, and there I stand for about 10 minutes, like trying to shove in some ginger biscuits and drink as much water as possible, and just try and get over that overwhelming sick feeling until the smell of onions have gone. But it took a while, but it was hideous. So that was hard work. And then my second hilarious pregnancy story was I went to a break into an office, and the offenders had gone into the very bottom of the filing cabinet, and I was like, oh, I'll be fine, I can get down there. I mean, I must have been about 30 odd weeks pregnant by this stage, and get down onto the floor and suddenly realise actually I'm a bit stuck and I can't get back up again.
Oh no.
So I'm like, could you just move this table over so I can pull myself up and sort of get out of here? So I think I had to put my notes, couldn't examine as my stomach is too big, and I went straight into our manager's office and went, I think I'm done now, I just got stuck on the floor. So that was the end of that.
Oh,
so yeah, it's always good fun in the
yeah.
pregnant or not, something random always.
Yeah, no, it certainly does. I still can't get over the thought of that lady ringing up and reporting you as fake police, and then the dilemma that the call handler then has, like, do you say that no, actually you were real police, or do they just say, oh no, thank you, thanks for the report?
No, it's those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know. Just for like, no, whatever, or great, thanks for letting us know, or actually no, they are supposed to be our professional BCSIs coming to look at a puppy. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Oh, I think we don't do too many jobs together, but the one that stands out for me that we did do was, you know which one I'm going to say, when we were in that caravan.
The lessons that were...
Yeah, so we were stood in this caravan, and we were examining it to just try and identify who owns this caravan, because it had been involved in crime. I'm not going to say what crime, but yeah, I'm sure you can use your imagination. And we were going through all the drawers and everything and the cupboards, and then we find this quite large pornography collection. And then you said something like, I think you were fairly early in your career, and you said, you know, I've never seen a presumptive semen test react positively. And I kind of looked at the pornography, I looked around the scene and thought, you know what, Hayley, I'm sure we can find you a positive test result in this caravan. And lo and behold, that was the first time you ever saw a positive result, wasn't it?
It was easy to find it because there was a suspicious pile of tissues in the sink.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh.
Yeah, who keeps tissues in the sink? Yeah, it's very, very odd. Yeah, and I think when we lifted one out, they all came out in one. So, yeah. Oh,
that
dear.
was a good job. That was hilarious.
Oh, dear. It
I kept
was.
us tickled for a few.
So,
that was good.
My last thing I was going to say is, if you've got any advice to the listeners as to how to become a CSI, what advice would you give?
So, I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but I'm just going to go in with this bit first, because really, really, really do your research and speak to people who are currently doing the job. As awesome as all this, well, I like to think it sounds awesome, fake police reports and finding seminal fluid on tissue, it all sounds so exciting. The role itself is physically, emotionally and mentally tough. It can be draining. I mean, this shift set just gone, I was only in for 4 days and I am knackered. You work on your own a lot, and you're driving around and you're going into people's houses. It smells. It's always going to be pleasant, and it's really paperwork heavy. I mean, you can be at a scene for a couple of hours and then writing it up for 3, so you've got a lot of admin to do, and I think that side of things really shocks people when they're actually doing it. I think so. Just go in and to find out realistically what it's like, aside from the glamour and the stuff that looks like the most fun. Generally, I think it is the most rewarding job, to work with like wonderful members of your team and outside of work, and working for the public and making a difference in people's lives. But yeah, you are exposed to things that you would never imagine seeing, and sometimes you can't unsee, but you do see the funniest sides of people, the public, the most shocking stuff you would never imagine. And I think there's a privilege to be involved in that sort of thing. So I think you need to be sort of the person that can cope with the flexibility, with being flexible, the on-calls, the impact of the shifts and things, so really take that into account. But yeah, I think just, yeah, if you can deal with all of that stuff, you'll have a career for life. I don't think there's very many people that ever really want to leave, other than to maybe find something else. And I think really, I don't know what the criteria is. I think any kind of degree is fine nowadays, but I do think life experience, getting into the police force that you'd like to work with, and get to know what's important to them and the service they want to provide to the public, and working across that way gives you really good knowledge too, because you can have as many degrees as you want, but if you haven't ever dealt with someone who's hangry or thinks they're right in a return, you're going to be in for a shock, you know.
Oh, definitely.
You don't get many people that are angry with you per se, but I think you have to manage people's expectations, and sometimes people are going to be really upset and going to look at their shed, but you know, you've got a lot of other stuff going on, and I think that's the thing. If you can manage people's expectations and explain why something's not happening, that's where your life experience comes in handy. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And I think, TV kind of will give some people a false representation of what we do, and it does make managing people's expectations a little bit harder. So yeah, people that are joining have got to have that kind of compassion with people, but I've also got to be quite firm with them as well. Like, if you can't do something, then you've got to tell them you can't and explain why. And I find that most, like 99.9% of people, if you explain why you can't do something, then they'll be fine with it. But absolutely. Yeah, they are good skills to have, like you say. And it's, you speak about life experience. I was having my performance review with my manager the other day, and I'd gone to quite a lot of jobs, and she said, "Why do you think that is?" And it got me thinking, like, when I worked at a pizza place when I was 15 years old, I used to get a phone call, and the people used to say, "Right, how long's my pizza going to be?" And so what I'd then have to do in a split second was work out how busy it was, how far away their house was from the pizza shop, how long it would take in the oven, what the queue was like in the oven, and the same with how they were being made, how many staff we had making the pizzas. So if you've got more staff, they get made quicker. Could it go with any other deliveries? So I was thinking about all this, and I had to do that in a snap second, and then just tell them, it's going to be 45 minutes, or it's going to be 50 minutes, or half hour, or whatever. And I said to my manager, I think I still do that now. So that's how I get through so many jobs, is that I'll see a job and I'll plan in my head, right, that's going to take X amount of time, but there's another job that I know is going to be 5 minutes away from the one that I'm currently at, so I can plan in that. And it's funny, isn't it, how you just think that working at a pizza place wouldn't give you too many life skills, but it really does.
Gives you so many, and I think that's the thing. And I think there is nothing worse than when you're stood at a counter as a manager and there's someone screaming in your face about a return that they think they deserve and they don't, and it does make you grow as a person. And I think that's the thing, is that they're invaluable lessons, and it really is something that you need for time management skills as well, because like you said, you know yourself that you can get to those jobs, you can get them completed at the level of standard that we expect, that's great for the victim, and still come back and get it all written up, and you're ready to go for the next day. And I think that's the thing, it's knowing your limits and your time management. And job job gives you that. I mean, I'm not saying that university doesn't. Obviously, you've got deadlines and things to meet, but as wonderful as I think having lots of degrees and masters and whatever you're going to be getting are, and it's a testament to you that you've done so much. I really do think that people skills and knowing your force and what's expected of you when you go into it is really beneficial as well, because you get to know different departments. And yeah, so that's my advice really, is if you don't fancy going down the uni route, get into a force near you and work that way. And I think, yeah, it's a lot to be said, having people skills, because you definitely need them.
Oh, you definitely do.
You can't teach people to be people-y.
No, you can teach them to swab a bit of blood, but you can't teach them, like you say, to be people-y. But yeah, like on reflection of that, I think the advice I give to people is don't underestimate the job that you're in. If you're not in a forensic or science related field, but you've got, say, a university degree, and then you're working in a shop, or you're working as a waiter or a waitress, then you're getting all those people skills. You're dealing with conflict as well and managing that, and yeah, there's yeah, and there's a lot to say for those kind of skills. So yeah, don't just think we wouldn't consider you, because I mean I came straight out of the pizza place to work for the police. Okay, not in this department, but I remember when I was applying, I thought, why on earth would they hire me? But yeah, there are a lot of skills that you can bring.
Absolutely, yeah. That would be. But yeah, I think definitely is get to know what you're walking into, because I think that's what people overlook.
Yeah.
Is it's great to say that you're a CSI, but actually, you know, I mean, I thought I struggled to have a social life before I had kids and did this job, but now it's even harder. You know, like you've literally got no time, so it is impactful. I think that's the thing, it's an impactful role. And if you're not working and you've got your 3 rest days, you're still trying to recover from it, and then you're going back into it again. So yeah, it's very just go back with that in mind, really. But I don't want to sound negative, because obviously it is a good job.
Oh, but yeah, I think
people really overlook.
Yeah, I'm sure people can gauge from this podcast that you are very enthusiastic, and a little, like you call it, negative Nelly comment isn't going to change the fact that you've been there however many years, and you're still like the most enthusiastic person there.
Like burglaries, to it.
Yeah.
It just sounded like Chase from Paw Patrol. No, what's happening?
Oh,
he's on the case.
I don't know that, but I'm sure I've got all this to come in a few months' time.
You have. That's just for people with kids.
Hayley, it's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure all the listeners will just love hearing all your funny stories, and yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, I'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, see you Saturday. See you, bye.
Thank you so much.
This is crime scene investigator Chris G signing off. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed listening. Be sure to subscribe and follow my social media at CSI Chris G. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you at the next crime scene. Are you still there, Hayley? Are you giving me a really kind of...
Can you hear me? I might be so halfway through your talk going, hello? So just check it.
There was a moment of suspense there. You know how to kind of drum up the suspense for the listeners.
Put you on 4G and see if that helps.
Yeah, that's a bit better. Or is it? we're just going to go to a commercial break. Are you still there? I just.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Oh, cool. I was going to say we could go to a commercial break, but no one's sponsoring this. So I don't really know what to fill it with. Oh dear.